So,
Ready?
obviously, everyone here was also at Christie's training for last week, and I really wanted to like build off of her training because we were talking about rebranding and pivoting, and this idea of pivoting is like kind of woven through this whole transferable skills training. But she touched on something that I think is actually really important when we talk about this idea of transferable skills, which is the idea that whenever we're doing like something new, whether it's in like business or life or relationships, whatever, our brain is literally there to protect us from the unknown, right? And I talk about this a lot, mostly because my coach Amanda talks about this a lot. Um, there's also this idea of like if you notice your brain is like clinging to all of these like negatives rather than positives when you are going to like do something new or different, it's literally totally normal. It might not feel that great, but it's basically just trying to keep you safe because I kind of equate it to if you're in the jungle and you're getting chased by a lion, the positive thoughts are going to be like, wow, look at how pretty that lion is. And like, how useful is that in keeping you safe? So, like, obviously, those negative thoughts had a purpose and they served a purpose. But it's important to not like cling to those. And those negative, like, thoughts or things that come up are they show up as like worst case scenarios, which again, Christy talked about this last time. Worst case scenarios, what ifs, and limiting beliefs like who am I to do X, or like someone else has way more experience at this one thing. So like why me to do this? Um, and Christy also talked about this idea of evidence building. And I that's part of the assignment that we're going to do a little bit later. But she basically talked about building evidence for why you're capable to, do the pivot that you're looking for. And the things she talked about doing are listing out your transferable skills, so those hard and soft skills, which we're going to do a little bit later, keeping feedback from your past clients that affirm your talent or basically like talk about how amazing you are, and then also like finding examples of when you took a leap of faith before and it actually did work out versus not work out. And like I said, we're going to talk about we're going to list out transferable skills and a little bit more in the assignment. But if you are branching out to do something different, like offering new services or whatever, each of those things are a really good idea to do because it's a nice way to affirm again that you are super capable of doing this thing. But I would like to circle back to hard and soft skills and just kind of give some definitions before we kind of get deep into this. Um, I was looking online and the simplest definition I could find for like hard skills are teachable and measurable abilities. So examples of hard skills are things like writing, reading, the ability to use computer programs like, Illustrator or Photoshop, marketing skills, self-stalking, things like that. And then the definition of soft skills are traits that make you a good employee or business owner. And the examples that I have of that are like communication, listening, getting along with other people, decision making, leadership, collaboration, time management, all of those good things. Um, so I'd like to talk about those skills in the context of when you're looking for new clients or you're maybe like offering a new service. Like Claire, I know you're moving away from the Photoshop classes and kind of moving towards doing more things for bigger businesses and stuff like that. So there's this idea of like if you can prove that you possess all of those like soft skills that you like list out or whatever, your client will believe that you can like learn the hard skills, right? So there's this idea of like if you're a good like collaborator and you're good at time management and you have really good leadership skills, your client is going to be like, okay, like she can probably handle learning how to do Photoshop if she's like got all these other skills. And then obviously if you can prove those hard skills, if you can prove that you know SEO or that you know how to do Photoshop, then they're going to know that you can do the job that they want. So the idea is putting those two things together and realizing that you are capable of handling that job or that new service or that new client, even if you've never done that exact thing before. Um, and I think it's really important to like point out that it's like obvious, but I have to say it, like, you know, a lot more about things than you think you do. And it's really important to acknowledge that, because I think it's, especially if you're doing new things, you're like, oh, I definitely can't um, learn, I don't even know, web development if I've never done that before. But it's like, okay, but if you circle back and you realize that you know how to make quick decisions, you are a fast learner, you don't give up. Like, those are the soft skills that will enable you to then learn those hard skills. Um, and there's something else is this happens for me, and I don't know if this is a relatable experience, but I do want to talk about it. It's this idea of like, when you know something so well, you think it's obvious for everybody else. Like, if you are so good at doing web development, you probably think that the tiny little details that you just like overlook or don't think are important, they're super important. And the reason that you overlook them is because it's like part of your job. Um,
This is
and
me.
yeah, it's so interesting. It's
Yeah, I did a presentation pitch to that job that I was applying for, and I like started talking about SSL security certificates as if everyone in the room knew what the fuck I was talking about. And I was like, oh wait, we're not website developers in here. My bad. Okay, so this is what this is. I forgot that normal people don't know what that is.
right. And I'm sure I'm glad you're like pointing that out too, because like when we go to do this activity or whatever, those are the kind of things that I want you to think about. Like, when we end up writing out our hard and soft skills, like, what are those things that, like, for me, it's like grammar, how to structure literally anything. So like, I've never like, there was a time in my life where I'd never written a sales page before, but I didn't lower my price for writing a sales page for my first client, because I know how to write and I know how to tell a story and I know how to be persuasive in my writing. So that it was like, I don't need to know how to write a sales page. I already know how to do it because I know the structure of a story. I know how to do things. Um, so it's just interesting because, you'll sit here and be like, well, I've never done that before. So I, probably can't do that. And it's like, no, you're definitely capable of doing that thing. You just have to find those skills that will like help you do that new thing. So, um, it's time for the activity already. So I knew I wanted to keep this short and sweet, but this activity is probably going to take up most of the time. So on your paper, create 3 columns. And the in the second column, the middle column, I'm going to have you write out a list of things that you want to do, that you want to be, that you want to create, or that you want to accomplish in the next 5 to 10 years. That's like a very arbitrary amount of time. It can be within the next year, it can be within the next week. The idea is to just list as many things as you can think of. And I'll give you 2 minutes to do this, and I'll set the timer. But there are probably going to be a lot of fears that come up and a lot of limiting beliefs, but I want you to ignore that and just be like super bold and literally write down what you desire. So I will go ahead and set the timer for 2 minutes, and we can go ahead and do that.
Are these like skills we want to learn, or just like anything that we want to call into our life?
Anything that you want to call into your life. So there's 2 other columns that we're going to get to in a minute. One of those is going to be limiting beliefs column, and another one is going to be the hard and soft skills. So don't worry about those right now. This is literally just things that you want to do, be, create, accomplish in your life or in business. And I'll give you 2 minutes. Okay. Your 2 minutes are up. Okay. So I know I told you to forget and not, let the fear or the beliefs like interfere with that with your list or whatever. But now I want you to use that first column onto the left. And all of those fears and limiting beliefs and whatever things that came up while you were writing all of those desires down, or just things that come up when you reread your list. I'd like you to write all of those out. And I'll give you another couple minutes to do that as well. Okay. Well, that was fun. I hate doing that. I'm like, oh
I was
wow.
just
I
gonna
really
say that writing those out is a shit sometimes.
Crazy.
It's good, but
Like,
it's a bit confrontational.
yeah. So, I'm not going to have you read them out loud or anything, but I do want you to just like take a second to like look at those beliefs that you wrote out, uh, because they're very real to you, to whoever wrote them, right? Like the ones that I wrote out seem very real to me, and I want to validate that. But I also want you guys to know and myself to know that everything that you just wrote down are all just beliefs, right? They're not reality. It's in all honesty, like probably 90% of the things that you just wrote out are probably never going to happen or even like come to fruition in terms of like the limiting beliefs. For example, if you, I'm trying to think of, so if one of my desires was like writing a book. One of my limiting beliefs is like, who am I to write a book? And like, what if someone calls me out for not knowing how to write a book or not writing it in the way that like the traditional sense, right? But like, who is actually going to do that, right? Like, no one's really going to do that. No one is going to call me out for writing a book in a different way than like people normally do. So I want to validate that these are absolutely real, but also just a reminder that they are just beliefs and you're not a psychic. So after you kind of look these over, I want you guys to draw like the biggest X over top of all of those and just like scribble the fuck out of that entire column because
It's satisfying.
bullshit. Whatever you got to do, if you need to like cross the fuck out of it or Sharpie, whatever. 'Cause they just don't need them. Don't need them. Okay. So, the next thing I want you guys to do, we have 2 columns left. Well, 1 column is empty. The column all the way to the right, the 3rd column is gonna be where you write out, all of your hard and soft skills. So, these are everything that you already have, right? The skills that you already have. Um, and I want you to write more soft skills than hard skills, but you're welcome to write hard skills down as well. And I'll give you another 2 minutes to do that. Okay. So, this is actually a pretty fun part. I'm really excited to do this. So you should have desires and your wants on the left and your hard skills, soft skills on the right. And just for like the next minute or so, I want you guys to draw a line between the skills that you have on the right and the like desires that you have on the left. Like, what skills do you already have that are going to be useful to do the things that you're trying to do? And I'll give you guys like I think probably just like a minute is fine. So does anyone else's thing look like this? Just like a mess of freaking lines and yeah. Yeah. Amazing. So the point of this activity is basically your thing should be like a ton of lines, right? You should have lines literally everywhere. And the reason that I wanted to, I'm like a very person, and so I think this activity is really important to understand that all of these like things that you think are like either really far away or things that like, oh, I don't have the skills to do XYZ. You like actually do. You have a lot of the things that you need to accomplish what you want. And that's because skills are transferable. The whole point of the training. Like I feel like it's so easy to be like, oh, the stuff I learned when I was a waitress is like not applicable to this new sales and marketing job I have. But that's right, exactly. That's like just not true. Um, the skills that you gain or like things that you learn along all of the jobs that you take on or the clients that you take on or whatever you do, they don't go away. Like they literally stay with you. And just because you aren't doing the thing that you did before, and even if you don't plan on doing that thing before, it doesn't mean you can't like use that skill um, in the next job or the next service or offering that you do. And something else I want to make sure that I touch on is this idea of like your specific experiences and background is actually what makes you the perfect person to do the job, the thing, the accomplishment, whatever that you want to do. Um, in like marketing or business terms, it's called your unique value proposition. It's that thing that sets you apart from everybody else. Like there are probably like 6 million copywriters in the world, but not every copywriter brings a journalistic background with a master's degree in strategic communication who worked as an intern at a magazine, and you know what I'm saying, like all of those things that you do or that I did are things that you can bring to the table that help you accomplish these new things that you've never done before. um I have an example that I want to use, and I didn't tell him that I was going to do this, but I'm going to use Nick as an example. um so don't get mad at me. Fun. Mostly because I think it's a lot easier to like see it for other people than you can see it for yourself. So I just kind of I want to like explain it in this way. So Nick went to school, he went to business school and studied marketing. And then he actually got a job in industrial sales, which was when he was working for Wosley. And now he's a freelance visual marketer. He does videos, he makes graphics, he handles tech stuff. Like he built this whole Discord out, he records our videos. And now he's in the process of applying to like normal, that's what I like to call 9 to 5 jobs, like just normal jobs where you just go in and you're working with other people. Um, and there's a lot of times where I have to like remind him what a freaking catch he is because he literally used to work for a company that dealt with multi-million-dollar accounts and he was selling every single day. And probably mostly because he wasn't super interested in that job or super passionate about it. It's something that you can kind of be like, oh, like I'm done with that. I didn't learn anything. Like, let's just forget about that. Um, but I kind of want to like illustrate all of this and like put his experience out on paper. Um, so you can kind of see how these like transferable skills and stuff tie into it. So um, his bachelor's degree in marketing makes him like aware of like trends and stuff like that, and how to create like proper ad campaigns, which he now uses in his own freelancing career. Um, so he also, like I said, at his old job, he dealt with multi-million-dollar accounts and was selling things all day, every day. And we've been talking about potentially, maybe later down the line of wanting to open up a skateboard distribution center on the East Coast, which would require him to work with local businesses, selling to them and dealing with lots of inventory like he was at his like sales job. And I think the important thing to remember is that like he hasn't like done any of this stuff before, right? Like it's not like he dealt with $1 million accounts before he was working at Wosley, but the skills that he gained are helping him for the new things that he's hoping to do later. And so like I said, it's really easy to want to just like push all of the things that you've done in the past to the side and be like, I don't need that anymore. It's not useful, or like to forget about it. Like we were talking about earlier, but it's preparing you for that next thing. And so, yeah, I think I really want to like remind you guys that it doesn't matter like what you end up doing, really, truly. I mean, if you're a business owner, you have so many skills that got you to where you are today. So I want to remind you that you are super capable and you're already prepared. And kind of with that, there's an affirmation that I say all the time, like all the time. And it's really simple, and I want to leave it with you guys so that it doesn't matter like if you are doing something completely different with your career, if you end up like not doing freelance or business ownership anymore, you decide to move into a different sector, you decide to do different offerings. The affirmation is, I have everything I need to navigate new situations. And I'll leave you with that because it's true.
Sorry, I turned off my speaker because I pet the cats this morning and now I can't stop sniffling.
Thank you so much.
Fucking
So
hell.
good. Oh my gosh, when you pulled it all together with the at the end with the arrows. Oh my gosh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, I wish
just
I
think-
had this like last week when I was setting up this pitch for this new client, which I'm pretty sure I got the job.
I know you did.
But yeah, the email she sent me yesterday, I was just like, you wouldn't send that and then not give me the job.
That's a good sign.
But I fucking shat myself getting that pitch together because it's for social media management and marketing, which of course like I know how to do, but this is for like a massive company with like millions of dollars of investors behind it. Like it's called Back Pocket. It's gonna be the Venmo of Australia because we don't have Venmo or Cash App or anything. Like it's gonna be fucking huge.
Or be full time.
Yeah. So I shat myself because I was like, I can't do this. I went through like the whole roller coaster of things. I'm like, fuck yeah, I got this. And like, I can't do this. I'm an idiot. No, like, yeah, I went through the roller coaster. So I wish I had this before I sent the pitch. I made it through, and I'm pretty sure I got the job. Yeah, she sent me an email yesterday and was just like, I'm halfway through your first video and I love it so much. Like it's such a fresh approach. Like the designs line up perfectly. Basically saying she's going to go through the rest of my presentation and then talk to like the larger team and let me know by the latest would be next Tuesday with next steps. You don't send that email if I didn't get the job, right?
But just take those compliments for what they are too. Like she wouldn't say that to everybody.
Yeah.
Sure. Heck no. Oh my gosh, that's so nice to hear.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about having to work a full-time job when that's so crazy and different? Like would you literally have to go on social media and say like I have time for anybody else kind of thing?
Well, it's a full-time position in terms of like the salary for it.
Yeah. But it's remote, so you
But
kind of have to have control.
but it's fully remote. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure on Fridays I'll have like a weekly roundup, like marketing meeting with everyone. But aside from that, like I'll still be able to run the business. And it kind of comes at perfect timing anyways, where my web designs, I'm moving into doing more of like the web design intensives and the day rate redesigns and stuff like that. So it works out really perfect. I want to build up a bit more of my website template shop just because I'm getting a lot of inquiries of people like at that lower budget point. And for me, it's working out really well because taking on a big, massive web design client and it's spanning over 3 months, like all I think about is that client for 3 months. I don't take weekends off. Like it's hard for me to find a balance. So working with these web design clients where it's like redesigns and day rates and web design intensives makes it's just better for me. But then also because obviously it's a much lower cost service, I still don't want to sacrifice and like have that income coming in. So this is like guarantees that income coming in, which is good from a visa perspective. And like trying to immigrate, I can say this is guaranteed how much money I'm making every month, guaranteed how much money I'm making every year. That makes the government happy. It makes me happy. All my bills are paid, and I still get to like do my web design stuff and have that creative outlet in a way that works for me, and with lower budget clients, which brings them all in. But it's been fucking scary. And it's so funny that Christy's last week was about pivoting, and this week it's about like transferable skills, because shit's changing over here. These two
like we planned this. She's over here like, I can't believe we're doing something. Like, yeah, that's the whole theme this month. Healthy.
Yeah. And we're like going from SSI to
amazing.
remote ID. Everything in the past 4 weeks has like shifted and pivoted, and now it's all coming together. And like I sent Erin a voice note yesterday, and I was literally like, my phone was on the counter, and I was like, my hands on my knees, like bent over on the kitchen floor, and I was like, what the fuck?
There's a lot of things, Jane.
It's like it's all supposed to happen this way.
I know, dude. And I was like actually kind of depressed this week because I was like, I think I might want to work full time for an agency again. Like, oh, it sounds so stressful, but I kind of do want more money too. And like, just thinking about buying a house and stuff like that. And so I was like, literally, like, I'm a failure. Like, my ego was like, wait, you have to give up on something. But hearing you say that, like, now that's my new mindset too. I'm like, no, like Chelsea can have a full time job and just like
make it work.
Yeah, it's almost you'd be like in a way because you get more freedom because you're not relying on. So interesting.
Yeah. I had a big chat with a friend last night, and she's like a photographer and videographer, and she's kind of said the same thing. She's like, I've hit a wall. She's like, I can't let my creativity come out properly because I'm just worried about like marketing and where the clients are coming in. She's like, I almost just want to get a job with someone where I know it's like that steady, stable income. And then I can let my creative juices flow, and I can work with more specified people. She's like, then every inquiry coming in, I get to decide. I get to take back control. I know my bills are paid, and then I can take on projects. Like, she's like, even if they are lower budget, if they're with a business or a brand that I love, I can be like, yes, because my bills are paid. I know that income's coming in. That's like my retainer client, which I've done a training on this before in the past. Like, have your retainer income and know your bills are paid, and then have your other sources. And I feel like there's a big shift in that, because as creatives and business owners, like, shit's hard. We wear all the damn hats. If you've got to be marketing and creating and launching and branding and like pivoting, all this stuff, like, the fuck, we're only one human. So yeah, if you're feeling that pull, mate, go for it.
But 100% only if it was 100% remote. You're right. Oh my gosh,
Yes.
that would be perfect.
Yeah.
The control of your schedule.
That was key
Something I
for
could
me as well. And this, I found these guys on LinkedIn, and it literally said that they wanted someone that was remote. So the main marketing girl is in Sydney. They've got 2 investors in Sydney and 1 in Briz. There's 2 other people that work for the company in Brizzy. And when I applied, she was like, fuck them, we've got someone on the West Coast. Perfect. We don't have anyone in Perth. Because they want the team, they want to market that and use that as like the branding and the strategy and the messaging, that it's a fully remote team all around Australia. So there's 3 different states right there out of like the 5 that are already in this, there's not that many. It's a pretty small country. So yeah, get on LinkedIn, man. Find it, put it out there into the world. Lots of journaling. I want a remote job with an agency. That's literally what I did. I just wrote out exactly what I wanted.
Super exact.
Yeah, and then it came to me.
It's actually really funny that you're talking about writing things down, because so there's like, I was looking into the different types of manifestation, and there's a way to tell with your human design, like what way you manifest best. So like, for instance, people that are like specific manifestors, if you want a house, you're writing down like, I want a yellow house with a red door, this many square feet, blah, 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 versus I'm a non-specific. So it's going to be
Me
more
too.
about the feeling. Remember when I am sure you've heard me talk about this, that list of things that I wrote out in February of 2018 before I got my freelance job. It was like all of these things that I want. I was like, I want, and I was very specific, but in a way of like, I want plants around. I want to be able to do more one-on-one communication. I want more creativity. I want like coworkers and like peers that respect me. So a lot more about like again, like less specific so that the universe can fill in the specifics for you, right? So like that at a single job, I wasn't like, I want to be a freelancer. I basically just wrote out all of the things and then the world was like, well, freelancing. And I was like, cool. So I highly suggest you either figure out which one you are or try to do it both ways and see like the way you like best.
Non-specific as well. You can find that out if you do like your basic chart and then go through it. It's really easy to find that out yourself. So you don't like, I want to book in with someone to go through my whole human design chart and do like a big like intensive on it. But yeah, that was one of the things I found out. My human design chart, it's actually in this notebook. And when I read that, I was like, oh shit. Because I used to stress out so much because everyone's like, you have to be so specific and you have to like this. And I'm like, I'm not specific about anything in my life though. Like all I know is that I want to travel. When people are like, what's your favorite thing or where do you want to travel to next? Like I'll give you like a continent. I can't tell you like a city and like it's too much for me. It gives me anxiety.
Or like jungle versus like, I want to go to Bali.
Yeah.
It's like about, right.
Yeah. So I've been doing that as well since I think it's about 2 months ago when I did the little solo van trip to Bustleton. That's where I found it out. So now when I am manifesting and stuff like that, when I do my like guided meditations, because in there they're like, get specific. And then I'm like, no, but I know that doesn't work for me. So I get to like be a bit more broad and general with it, which, yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's hella crazy how when you learn these little things and you start doing them, how like it actually works.
I agree.
It's very cool.
It's like the universe is all connected or something.
It's almost like it is. Yeah, definitely. If you want to chat about this and stuff that comes up, definitely let me know because I know there's a lot of anxiety that comes with like completely changing your life and doing things like completely different. So if you're like, okay, I'm like interested in doing this agency work, then it'll probably require you to like restructure the business that you currently have. So just reach out if you want to chat about it.
Thank you so much.
Yes, definitely.
Beautiful. I hope you liked this. I'm looking. This like literally looks like a madman like took over my page. So
yeah, I tried. Mine was like so neat, and then it went to shit. But that's fine.
That was kind of the point. I was like, I better see fucking lines galore all over the pages. I swear to God.
So funny.
That was amazing. I can't believe you came up with that just for us. That was amazing.
You try.
Some exercise.
Thank you. I'm actually trying to follow this girl called, her name is Articulate with Hannah on Instagram, and she is doing a membership. It kind of reminds me of this, where like once a month she's bringing in, or she's doing like a training on like presentations, and like how to improve and create more like engaging presentations and things like that. And I am 1,000% going to sign up for those classes because the way that she talks about it is just so, I don't know, like it's so interesting, and she does it for like corporate clients. So it's, I don't know, I feel like it's going to be super helpful, and hopefully next time I give a training it'll be like freaking amazing, and I'll start off with a bang and end with a bang, and there'll be like really awesome examples in there. But I'm super pumped for
Nice. And the fact that you're working on yourself. That's so cool. That's going to be amazing for you. Heck yes.
that. Thank you. Yeah, long time coming.
I'm just on her Instagram right now.
Yeah, I think she has like a program. I'm not sure if she's still running it or not. It's called like Present with Confidence. I don't know what it is. I don't want to join programs right now. Like literally for anybody that's even like 6-week programs. I'm like, I'm not interested. I don't want that. I want like either a class or some sort of membership. Like I'm a part of the healing membership, which is really nice. They have like they do there's like a bunch of different experts that are in the membership as well, and they each have like every week they have something going on. But really all I do is go to the full moon circles, and it's like totally worth it for me. I just appreciate that it's kind of like this. It's like you can show up to all of the things or one of the things, and like it's worth it, you know? So it's just interesting.
Yeah.
Right, you guys. Well, I'm going to let you go. If that's it, I'm going to go eat dinner and stuff and enjoy the rest of my night. Hope you guys have a good
Beautiful.
day/night.
Heck yeah.
Please do. Thanks.
Enjoy your
Good to
dinner. I'm
see
going to go
you.
have breakfast.
So funny. All right, you guys. I'll
Bye.
talk to you more later.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Hello.